Hello, everyone. I'm Jeff Hampton with the Fulgham Law Firm. Today, I want to talk to you about selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor. Maybe you are a server or a bartender. Maybe you are working at a convenience store, and all of a sudden, you find yourself in a sting where you've been arrested for something you didn't even realize was illegal. Wait around to the end of this video. I'll provide you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Okay, now listen, I'm going to take this from two different angles. One is when you see someone who's under the age of 21 out trying to buy some alcohol, and then you have others who are serving people alcohol. Nowadays, we know that teens and young adults come up with all types of different ways in order to obtain alcohol, whether it's consuming at a party or with a bunch of friends in a dorm room. Listen, there's all kinds of ways. Up here in the North Texas area and the Fort Worth area, we have TCU nearby, and of course there's other, it's literally a stone's throw from where our office is. And then you've got other local, Tarrant County College and other places that are out here where you have young people that we've run into many times who will decide they're going to get a fake ID, right? So maybe they'll go get a fake ID and they want to go be able to purchase alcohol, get into different places where they can consume alcohol. Now we know in Texas that the legal age to consume alcohol is 21 years of age, right? But it doesn't stop people from still trying to get the alcohol, right? So they want to still try to do all that they can to be able to obtain that and hang out with all of their other friends. We understand this doesn't make someone a bad person. Okay, it may have been a bad choice. Maybe it was a mistake, but we also understand that we don't want this type of choice to ruin someone's life. The last thing you want to happen is to see someone end up with a conviction that's on their permanent criminal record for being charged with either purchasing alcohol as a minor or actually furnishing that alcohol to a minor. Okay, and what are the examples that we find that? Well, we find that happens all the time to like store clerks. You'll find it at restaurants or bars. And I'm just going to be frank with you, and I think it's really terrible, but we see this happen all the time with international students who will come over here. University of Texas at Arlington, UTA, this happens all the time. You'll have international students who will come over from India, from Nepal, and all these other places that will come over looking to get their education. They don't know the first thing about the law in Texas or the United States for that matter, and they just want to get a job and work hard. Well, what do? They end up going in and working at a place, and they end up working at a convenience store, and the person that's there doesn't give them any Texas alcohol and beverage training. There's no TABC training that takes place. They may not even really exactly know everything that's going on, and what ends up happening? Someone comes in, they're thinking that they're looking at their ID, and maybe they misread it, maybe they don't even know what they're looking for. Next thing you know, they find out it's an undercover TABC agent coming in to make a sting. And think about this, who do you think gets arrested? Do you think the store owner gets arrested? No. It's the poor clerk behind the desk who went ahead and finished up the exchange and the sale for the alcohol. Now you've got someone who's an international student who's doesn't even have citizenship status. Now they're being held in custody. So we want to understand what we're looking at here in a way to be able to defend ourselves from these charges. So if you've been charged with selling alcohol to a minor and you are being contacted by an investigator, that type of investigator would be a TABC investigator, the Texas Alcoholic and Beverage Code investigator, right? It's the Texas Alcoholic and Beverage Commission is what it is. But they have their investigators that will call and contact you. I want you to understand it's very important that you have a right to an attorney, a Sixth Amendment right to obtain counsel and have that attorney present with you before you answer any questionings or any type of questioning from that investigator. Now let's break down the code for a second. The Texas Alcoholic Beverage Code. Under the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Code, section 106.03, there is a section entitled Sale to Minors. Now the law provides that a person commits a criminal offense if with criminal negligence he sells an alcoholic beverage to a minor. That's the first portion. The B section, so that's letter A. Letter B states a person who sells a minor an alcoholic beverage does not commit an offense If the minor falsely represents himself to be 21 years old or older by displaying an apparently valid proof of identification that contains a physical description and photograph consistent with the minor's appearance, purports to establish that the minor is 21 years of age or older, and was issued by a governmental agency. So the proof of identification may include a driver's license or an identification card issued by the Texas Department of Public Safety, a passport, or a military identification card. Here's the thing. If you sell alcohol to a minor, let's say someone comes in, and nowadays, I've seen 15-year-olds with beards, and it was hard for me to tell whether or not I thought they were 30 years old. And the problem is, it doesn't matter. What you look at someone, when you look at someone and you say, that person looks like they're 50 years old, it doesn't mean that they are. You have to card them, right? You have to make sure you take a look at their identification card. If they give you a fake ID, and that fake ID is, as the code says, basically convincing, if it looks like them, that is actually a defense. So you would not be able to be charged with selling alcohol to a minor in that situation. But if they gave you an ID and you didn't really look at it, just the ID itself is not magical. You have to actually review it and look at it. If you didn't look at it, then you could be termed to have been negligent, and you could now be facing a Class A misdemeanor. So selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor is a Class A misdemeanor, punishable by up to 1 year in the county jail and up to a $4,000 fine. So let's talk for a few minutes about some of the defenses that are available, okay? So while the penalties associated with being convicted of selling alcohol to a minor are serious, there are some defenses that are out there, and we've already identified one of them pretty quickly, which is, did someone present you a pretty convincing fake ID? Then by itself, if that's the case, then you were not negligent. You were relying upon what you believed to be a true identification card, okay? So one of the other things is under section 106.06 of the code, a person may also have a valid defense if a minor was given alcohol or had alcohol purchased for them by a parent, a spouse, or legal guardian, and consumes or possesses it while visibly in their presence. So if you actually did finish up a sale, but the parent was standing there, or maybe at a bar, this happens more frequently, you serve a minor, but the parent is there sitting at the table as well. If you do that, that is a defense, because the minor is there with a parent, and it was being consumed in the presence of that parent or legal guardian, okay? And you say, well, how do I know for sure? Well, if you had a good reason to believe, then it would not be negligence if you believed that it was a parent or a legal guardian, okay? Now, look, there are some examples here. It may not be negligence based upon the factual scenario of what's going on. We've had other issues where there's been long lines of people, or maybe even the way that the undercover TABC agent went about presenting their ID or the information that they did when they purchased it. Every case needs to be looked at by its unique set of facts. But what if you did do it? Okay? What if it did happen? And this happens very frequently where we get college students who this happens to. If you're a college student and you're working hard in a bar or a restaurant or maybe at a convenience store, and you've been charged with this, even if you were negligent and you were guilty of this offense, there may still be a way to be able to get your case dismissed. In the North Texas area, there are diversion programs that exist. And I'm going to give you an example of one. In Tarrant County, there is the Deferred Prosecution Program. And if you are charged with selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor, if you have an attorney that knows what they're doing, this could be an option for you. Here's the benefit. If you get into the program, your case can be dismissed as quickly as 4 months, and you can be immediately eligible to get all of it expunged from your record. The arrest, all the information, the charges, everything completely expunged from your record. It does involve you having to fill out an application. You've got to fill out some personal statements and answer some questions, and there is an interview that's involved. Your attorney can help you get through that entire process. What matters is getting you to the place where you're able to get the case dismissed and get this permanently expunged from your record. Now, maybe you're facing a selling or furnishing alcohol to a minor case in the North Texas area. Don't hesitate to contact the Fulgham Law Firm for a free case analysis and consultation. at 817-877-3030. I promised you if you waited around to the end of this video, I would also give you a free ebook, What to Do If You've Been Charged with a Crime in Texas. Click the link below. We'll be happy to send it right over to you. And if you liked what you heard here today, subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our video, and we'll send you more great content just like this. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you next time.